Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today we're going to talk about how to unlock and rank up Leader, as well as the best build that you want to aim to have for him. This gigantic headed sniper's wet dream is going to be an interesting addition to your roster for a lot of reasons, but mostly because he replaces Cyclops, a character who last year around this time got shafted with a naked tier 4. So let's get right into it. Normally when you go over to Leader's page and you look at his location, it's going to be paywall only, and that's certainly one of the ways you can get him. That is the way I'm going to be getting him in this video because I don't have the patience to wait. But for those of you that do have just a little bit of patience, all you have to do is play the timeline quest, because when you play the timeline quest, and as you can see I'm already 1/5 the way through it on the first day, and you scroll through the rewards, you will have one of the timelines where you'll be able to pick up 10 biometrics for Leader, and that's all you need to get started. So let me go and grab my 10 biometrics by paying, and then we will go through the rest of the steps needed. Now, if you don't want to wait, if you're like me, you have two options. Option number one, if you feel like gambling, you can purchase the Infinite Intelligence chests. You get some crystals, you get some other stuff, and you have an 8% chance. That's right, 8%, just under a 1 in 10 to get his biometrics. I don't really like those odds, so I'm gonna keep it easy, and I'm just gonna go and pick up the the biometric selector, so that I can select his bios there once just to get 30 bios, and then I can start selecting bios for somebody else, maybe like Sentinel or Crescent for a future potential uniform, or maybe even Red She-Hulk, if you believe the rumors, not data mines, but rumors about the Red Harpy uniform. Bonus tip, if you're getting Leader's bios from this biometric selector and you're purchasing it, get it through the web shop if you can, so you can get some bonus value there, rather than only being able to get whatever you get. I mean, because you get the 10% back, so you do get something of value in addition to the selector. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and collect his bios. Just imagine this would be the way that you get his 10 bios. This would be you getting his 10 bios from the timeline quest. And instead of paying $10, you would have paid $0. But there you go. You now have your 1-star Leader. You're ready to go. You're almost there. Not quite, but you're almost there. From here, you want to use rank up tickets because he's a premium character. You don't want to keep using biometrics on him, and you're not going to get more biometrics from the timeline quest. So it's only if you have that subscription or this better way, which is to use rank up tickets. Now, a lot of people ask me where you get rank up tickets from. There's a bunch of rank up tickets that you get from growth bonus missions like 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star. You also get rank up tickets just by logging in. There's a monthly or an 8-week check-in event that's going to give us a 6-star rank up ticket tomorrow. There's other events that give you rank up tickets. You should be able to accumulate a bunch of them. I never buy them, and I never run out of them. And that's essentially because they're constantly being given to players through various means. You also have, the option to get a mega rank up ticket. At times, those are also good. When you have them available in packs, or when you have them available through different events in game. But yeah, I'm going to use a mega rank up ticket here. Same thing as using a 2 through 6-star rank up ticket. From here, what I recommend is freezing the character until you have a mega tier 2 ticket. Now, ironically, if you take a look at the sweet February event, at the very bottom, if you just do 50 world boss runs, which would take you 10 days or 9 days if you already did the first ones, you're going to get a mega tier 2 ticket for free. So essentially, watching this video and following these steps here, you can have, as long as you have the rank up tickets ready, you'll be able to get Leader tier 2 and then eventually tier 3, but you'll be able to for sure get him tier 2 within 10 days of this video. And presumably within just a few days after that, you'll be able to get him to tier 3. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the mega tier 2 ticket, and now, boom, we are essentially at the last kind of difficult step. From here, it's pretty straightforward. You just need to get his first potential unlocked, so that you can then take him to tier 3. And you're going to want to, well, you can consider taking him to tier 3, but you don't have to. This is the funny thing, too, about Leader, is if you just want him to replace Cyclops, you're actually done. It's his 4-star passive there that, applies to all villain allies, and you actually don't even need to get him to tier 2 for that. So I actually went further than I needed to. You actually just need to get him to 4 stars. Yes, that's right. Once you get him to 4 stars, I didn't show you that because it would have taken too long ranking up one by one with the tickets. But once you get him to 4 stars, you can actually just freeze him there at 4 stars. and he will have that supervillain passive, which allows him to replace Cyclops. And what I mean by replacing Cyclops is anytime you have content where it's asking you, if you go into the training mode here and we cycle through to the Blast Villain Day. Now, I'm going to use Doctor Strange, of course, because he's the GOAT. We're going to use Mysterio if you have his seasonal uniform, which is important there. And then, of course, you can now use Leader. Now, for example, let's say you don't have the seasonal uniform for Mysterio. Maybe you were using Cyclops anyways, so you would do something like this now. You can also do something like this, which is a different buff here with Weapon Hex. It's not quite as good as Mysterio's buff, but it does still give the zombie allies... I forget what the buff is for zombie allies, but yeah, it does increase their damage by supervillains by 45%, so that is pretty good. It really depends who you have. Some people would say that this is going to be better than this. Obviously, if you have hers, sure, she's not going to be replacing Cyclops, but she would be replacing Cyclops for the... Or, sorry, Leader would be replacing Cyclops for the Blast Villain Mail Day, because once you have Mail involved for the Legend mode, let me just switch over here to it, now you don't have the same options available to you, so this would be your best team up when it's Mail villains, and now you would cycle out Cyclops for your 4-star leader. So you really don't actually even need to go to tier 2, because I don't believe there is a minimum rank for Alliance Battle. I believe you can bring in 1-star characters into Alliance Battle, so you don't even have to go as far as tier 2. You can save that mega rank up ticket for another character if you're not interested in tier 2ing your leader. As for getting Leader's potential, if you want to tier 3 him, you can either take him into World Boss Ultimate, which I highly dissuade you or recommend not doing, or just take him into World Boss Legend as a striker and get his potential, which I did not do this time around, so I'm gonna have to wait. So finally, on our second try, we get Leader's potential, and now we can take him up to level 70 in order to then take him to tier 3. So we jump on over and we unlock his first potential. This takes a maximum of 2 days. Just keep that in mind. It's 50% per day or 100% on the first day. So there's no way to skip that. As far as using these enhancement tickets, they're always useful to use. There's no like better character to use them on, except maybe some argument to be made for mutant characters if you're trying to save mutant materials. But otherwise, if they're all non-mutants, they're just going to take the same Black Antimatter and Chaos Nordstones or CCF. So using these tickets is all the same there. I'm going to skip ahead. You should use these tickets, keep that in mind if you have them, because they save you a bunch of gold. Up to 10 million gold they'll save you. So you absolutely should use them. And then from here, you could even use a tier 3 enhancement ticket. I don't have any tier 3 tickets, but you could use one. I'm not going to. They're not really that useful, again, unless you're trying to save gold or you have like a bunch of extra tickets. But also keep in mind, there's no use hoarding regular tier 3 tickets, because once you have the character at tier 2, as you can see, there's no more bios needed. I don't need Leader's bios for anything anymore, unless he gets a uniform in the future. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So you don't have to worry. So if that were the case, you would want to use like a mega tier 3 ticket on someone like, you know, Professor X, or kind of a rare character like Magic or something like that, Namor, maybe Luna Snow. But you wouldn't want to use that even on a character like Leader, because you're not really saving his bows for anything. All those other characters I named, they have, you know, uniforms, so saving their bios for a uniform or a future uniform makes more sense than for Leader. So for Leader, as we discussed earlier, I think a mega tier 2 ticket is the one that makes the most sense. Beyond that, I wouldn't go crazy with tier 3 or mega tier 3 tickets for him. So we get the potential, then we get him to level 70, then we get the gears all to 25, and now we are done. We get the 10 books, and we have now our tier 3. He's got a really cool tier 3 animation. Our tier 3 leader. Again, keep in mind, he does not need to be, I believe, beyond 4 stars in order to already replace Cyclops, because he already has, this is his 4-star passive, Evil Leadership, not his tier 2 passive. But getting him to tier 3 is nice, because then you can bring him into any kind of tier 3 content as a lead, as a support, as basically just a much better version of Cyclops, right? Because any villain stages you can bring him on, you can give 50% energy attack, which is close to what Cyclops is providing at 80 or 85, and then you supplement that with this buff, which then exceeds Cyclops's. Now, it doesn't apply to the non-villain stages, of course, or the non-villain allies, but that's basically the only downside. So that is essentially it for the leader rank ups. As far as the rest of the build goes, I wouldn't go too crazy, so I just gave him some 6-star energy attack Uru for his growth score, and then I gave him overdrive, but you can go with Power of Angry Hulk, Hawk's Eye, pretty much anything you roll there. I would slap on some kind of proc or invincibility obelisk. He does seem kind of proc friendly, so if you want to use him in some Shadowland stuff, you know, you can take advantage of that. And then I would upgrade his type enhancement to probably 4 or 5, depending on what kind of tickets you have. Again, so you can get enough of that growth score. That growth score being important, I'm now ranked 300. So that you can add him in on a dispatch stage to farm more dispatch rewards passively. But other than that, what are your thoughts on leader? Is he worth building, or are you going to keep him at 4 stars as just a Cyclops replacement? Hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching the video. Smash the like button if you enjoyed the content, or thumbs down if you hated it, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.